Welcome back to another episode of I have no idea what I'm doing. So, today, we're actually going to do the pour. Now, whoa, big old shake there. I have ran this little clear tube all the way through, which is what I'm going to put my LEDs in. Now, to secure off the edges, I'm going to use hot glue on the outside, as to not leave imprints on the inside. As for the actual mold itself, I put down all that packing tape and everything else, and then I'm going to spray it with silicone lube and start mixing. Fingers crossed it goes well. Okay, so now that we got that all done, I got this liquid wrench silicone spray that hopefully, along with the packing tape, it's gonna make it a smooth removal. But, you know, I don't know what I'm doing, so we'll find out. Okay, so now we have everything clamped down. All of it sprayed with the silicone. And so, now it's time to mix the epoxy. Now the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put some epoxy right here, some clear epoxy. That way, it won't seep and suck all of it into the wood. So, here we go. So now that we got all the edges lined up with clear epoxy, we're gonna let it sit, let it dry for a little bit, you know, get tacky, gel state, maybe around 30 minutes, depending on what epoxy you're using. I'm using some random crap off eBay, or not eBay, Amazon. So it is called Incredible Solutions. Yeah, so we're gonna let this dry. We're gonna go ahead and measure out all the sizes and figure out the volume of how much epoxy we're gonna need. All right. Here goes. All right, so at first glance, it did pretty well. Probably should put a little more and maybe do a better job freaking taping next time, but you know, whatever, that's hindsight. But yeah, so it is currently setting. We're gonna leave it for about 30 minutes or so. Then we're gonna come back with the heat gun and get most of the bubbles out. And then we'll go over with the next layer, which is gonna be the cool, blue, fun one. Now we play the waiting game. Okay, so it's cured enough to be a little tacky, and now it's time for the last and final sticky coat of epoxy. So let's do it. so we got our colors all mixed up. This right here is Bleu de France. Yeah, I'm not making it up, that's the actual name. We got Mayan blue, which both are fairly metallic-y. And last, we got Azul, which, to be honest, just a standard blue. But now comes the horrifying part of pouring it all in. And yes, the reason all this is here is because technically you're supposed to be doing a epoxy pour in a dust-free environment. Well, you know, I live in an apartment complex, so that's kind of impossible. So instead, we're gonna wrap it up in some cellophane and call it a day. All right, time for the pour. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually pretty freaking nervous. But I don't know what I'm doing anyways, so it's fine. Ooh. Ooh. That's cool. Time for the Mayan blue. The Mayan blue, we're just gonna do little bitty spurts of it because it's pretty opaque. So far, we got this. Okay, so it's been about 20 hours or so, and we're back, and this thing is hard as a rock. So, fingers crossed when I'm taking apart the mold that it's not all, fall apart. So, here we go. Comes the part of actually getting it off the form, which hopefully should be pretty good because I had that silicone stuff and all that tape. And as you can tell, note to self, if you're ever actually going to use pieces of wood to hold down your stuff, tape it up because these bad boys are, freaking glued down. So yeah, we're gonna try and get those out too. But first, the form. Oops. All right. right, so it's all out. It actually came out fairly easy in comparison to what I thought I was expecting. It's nice and smooth. The only couple of issues you can see right here, where it started to gel up a little earlier than the rest around it. And you know, my dumbass was trying to mix it. You can also see very tiny little holes, which were the bubbles that I popped, but I popped them a little too late. So make sure you pop them a little bit earlier. But that's all gonna be fixed once I do a final coat over the top. After, of course, you know, sanding the absolute life out of this thing. But yeah, I'd say it went out pretty well.